Hello, everyone. Welcome to Spiritism at Noon. We are currently studying the book A Full Life by the Spirit Joanna de Angelis and a psychography by Divaldo Franco. And we are in chapter 4. And I'm going to start sharing with you my screen. Okay. Last week, we start talking about the subject. What do you want me to do? In reference to the question that Paul of Tarsus asked Jesus on the road to Damascus when Jesus appeared to him, and he was without doubt that Jesus was really the one to bring the messages from God. He immediately turned to an active attitude, saying, "I'm here at your service." So we talked about the disposition and how he responded, and then we went to Joana de Angelis went to talk about ourselves, about our position in the world, how we sometimes let ourselves be guided by, just the trivial things, that just the things that are more related to the material aspects of life, or be swayed by what people are doing, so I'm going to be doing that as well. Being in a position that we do not know for sure what do we want, and that means, this whole question and attitude requires effort on our part. And so many times we just see what the world dictates, and according to our sense of belonging, we just go with the world without questioning. It's simpler, and I don't have to take responsibility for my actions and my thoughts. But she talks about, being now the time for us to start questioning this attitude, right? Just staying there without participating, without having an ideal, will lead us to a very unproductive life. And when I say unproductive life, I mean in terms, considering how hard it is for us to reincarnate on planet Earth. And finally, we have the opportunity, decades of planning and returning and getting to the age where you can, be something that you can change things, not only in yourself, but help in the improvement of our planet. And we just accommodate. So this is why she's calling our attention here, and she comes with this last paragraph of the first part. The human being that thinks and aspires to a harmonious life always asks, what do you want me to do? And in that concept lies the meaning of life. By understanding that life wants the establishment of existential goals, it becomes embedded in people's aspiration. So here the question is, or the interpretation of the question is, what can I do that is going to be meaningful? That is going to represent that I did not waste my time, and I'm doing things that is going to help me to grow and is going to help the world to grow. So this is, the existential goals, as you said. As always, we always repeat that um, it's not so easy to get to this process of making an assessment of what we want to do, what should we do. But the thing is, we um, once we get there, we get almost there in knowing what we want to achieve, we should not be desperate in achieving that overnight because it's impossible. It's baby steps, slowly but surely. And this is what we have to do. That's why many people give up on the way, because when they don't see sudden change, impactful change in the short term. But this is impossible. In anything that we do in life, we do not conquer anything in life overnight, unless you win the lotto. But then probably for that to happen, you have been playing the lotto for many years. And this is the first time that you are going to win. So it is, even then, it is a process. Any question or comment so far? Let's go ahead, Sonia.
And this means specific for our improved transformation, or could be like not only this, but because sometimes I feel the responsibility for people surround me, close to me, and sometimes it's so frustration, uh, and sometimes not. Then my actions can produce some fruits from, because for me it's important not just about me, but for the people. I feel responsible, people close to me.
And in fact, we are, Sonia, right? It's not by chance that, some spirits are going to belong to our inner circle, uh, the family members, for instance. Okay, so we are there to contribute and to help them in their process of growing. But having said that, it doesn't mean that we can do the work for them. So it is up to us to be faithful to the end. So the best thing we can give them is the examples. See, I tell you, that you should be calmer, not give yourself to anger. So what should we do? That we you should respect your mom and father. What should we do? Respect ours as well, right? Uh, Even if they not no longer belong to the world of the living, sometimes we make comments about our parents that will not be nice, and will give bad examples. We have, as much as possible, to take them to experience, something that is more, uh, you know, spiritual in nature. Okay. Uh, it can be going to the botanical garden, right? Listen to a concert, or so that's what we can do, Sonia. So this is our responsibility, to teach and be an example. What they are going to do with that, we do not control. And like you said, it is frustrating. Um, but maybe so far for this incarnation, this is uh, what they can deal with, because they could simply turn their back to us and stop any kind of relationship, you know children's, or parents or brothers, sisters, cousins, the closest relatives. But if they are there and continue the relationship, this is where you can continue sowing. And I understand perfectly what you're saying, but you can only really do things yourself for yourself. And that, it's a very individual journey, but not selfish. In the same way that is individual to you, it is to them as well. You know, in their own time, in their own way, they are absorbing the good examples. And things are going to improve because that was the same process that we have gone through ourselves. If even in this lifetime we still have so much struggle, and we struggled sometimes to get to this way, imagine how we were before. Sometimes we still think it's not our priority. It's there on the to-do list, but sometimes we don't put that as our priority, and it should be our priority all the time. But we're getting there. They will get there. And one thing is, we should never give up. Okay?
Working and working and working.
Because you see, the way I see it, we have responsibilities in this field. If not necessarily directly to them, because we cannot say that, oh, I did something to you in the past and now you have to come with me so I can repair, make amends from what I did in the past. No, let's say the misdeed is yours. Okay, we don't need to put the two together for you to make amends. You have, like for instance, let's say that I am in school and I fail in the history class. Okay, so I have to do history again. It's my problem, right? I failed. I don't need to have the same teacher for the next year. You see, what I need is to learn history. So whatever teacher can help me to learn history will be there. So this is very important for us to think about, because we think that is just, yeah, there are situations, but it's not the rule. Okay, so definitely we have responsibility in the sense of neglecting, the conviviality, parenthood, honoring our matrimonial commitments, right? And now we are going to receive spirits that were affected by this kind of relationship, that we have to help them in recovering. But the thing is, if we are in this process, there are only two alternatives. Either we volunteer for that because we are already too good, which is more the exception than the rule, or we have that subject to learn better. And so, since you want to work in your commitment to betterment, in helping others that have failed because of situations that you have provoked, we will bring spirits that went to similar experiences, or even the ones that you neglected and put it in the bad ways of life, so to say, and now they're coming. And we have to assume this responsibility. Okay, so let's read here. So got a response from Jesus. Go to Damascus, and there we will be told what to do. And at that moment, recognize the sublime goal for which he was destined. The apostle to the Gentiles was born. See how interesting, because when he asked Jesus, what do you want me to do? More in the sense, like we comment last time, of, I'm here at your service. I recognize and I acknowledge who you are. Um, it was more like a rhetorical question, and here is more like a rhetorical answer in the sense that go to Damascus, because there he would be going to the very place that he was first going to kill Christians. And more in especially this Ananias, that was the number one, let's say, criminal in his understanding, that he was there to persecute. And so it's very interesting when we see that. No, I'm not sending you in a different path. You're going to the same path. You're going to look for the same person you want to kill. And this is the person that will lead you to your destiny and even heal him, because as we know, he became temporarily blind by all the light that was shown. So he obeyed, did what Ananias recommended, went back to a world that no longer existed to him, and became a giant in the dissemination of the gospel. Yes, now he knew what to do, enlighten humanity. And we are here to do the same. Maybe not, of course, in the scale of Paul of Tarsus, but we are here to do the same one by one, starting with us, which is exactly what happened to Paul. It started with him. Unwaveringly following the trail blazed by Jesus, he spread the liberating message with the light of the truth, conquering a world that was in darkness. He understood the meaning of love and charity and completely surrendered to the enchantment of the good news. He never stopped serving and knew how to renounce his ego and the things deemed as important. His ardor was transformed into a resolute principle, and he lived for the ideals of life. So, I mean, that example is very impactful to us, because normally when we refer to Paul, we say that he was faithful to what he believed, and he didn't want anything to come and jeopardize, all this knowledge, the traditions, the path to God. But what he didn't know is that there would be something, someone, new revelation that needed to come to give a different impulse to this journey of humanity going after God, starting with learning who God really is. And is the father figure, the mother figure, the loving one, when until Jesus, he was considered a vengeful God, an angry God, that would punish, following this kind of education that is more dictated by violence than actually by love. Any comment or question? Yes, Mercedes.
This book impacted me a lot. So every time that I need to repair something that some mistake that I did, I remember the position of Paul, and I try to feel, obviously in this proportion is different, but this sentiment that he was trying to repair. So now is he needs to repair. So these people that he was killing before are looking at him differently, and the people that he helped, no, the like him, are looking for him differently too. So it's so hard, because now when I need to repair something, I feel bad, like maybe like him, no, he knows that he needs to repair, but it's this kind of emotion. But he needs to do with faith, and because he knew that this is he needs to do. So I always try to imagine this emotion that he always in the beginning, he needs to show to the Christians that he now is a new person and he's a good person, for the Christians. And for others one, he needs to show that this is the new Paul, new soul, no? And these people never will believe him anymore. How is the name of these guys? Uh, do templo, as pessoas do templo,
Pharisees, the Pharisees.
Yes, for him, no one likes him because he's in the middle now. The Christians
Yeah.
try to believe in him, and the other ones, but he was a person. Now he's other person. So I try to bring to my life, how he could. So I can do it too when I need to recover, repair something that I did badly.
Mm. Yeah, and you see, here it's so important when we think that immediately, instead of him being overtaken by guilt and remorse, uh, he recognized that he had to do something in relation to that. And this something was not to be going there, feeling sorry about himself or going to the ones that he has damaged or the family ones. And please forgive me. Because sometimes, even this need of forgiveness that we have, sometimes it may be related to pride, right, because I need the person has to forgive me, no, he just said, there is only one way for me to deal with the damage that I did, which is to do as much good as I can. And so he went through this path, but out of conviction. Before, he was persecuting people out of conviction. Now, like in this chapter, is what Joanna de Angelis is talking about, you have to have an ideal, right? His ideal was to preserve Judaism, right? The Hebrew knowledge. Now his ideal is, to serve Jesus and to spread this knowledge of love that we have with Jesus. Um, and I think to us is the same, like you were saying, Sonia. We feel so frustrated because, the loved ones, the ones that are closer to us, sometimes our impact on them is almost none. But on the other hand, there are so many sisters, brothers, mother, father, children figured around us that we are helping and that are helping us, and that we are impacting their lives and making a difference. So we should not just be, oblivious to that, not paying attention to all that. We have to keep on sowing the seeds. Some of the terrains are going to be more prepared than the others, and not and many times, almost as a rule, we do choose the complicated ones to be closer to us, right?
And sometimes this kind of frustration help me because open a door to practice everything I learning
Mhm.
here.
Yeah.
My ability to understand, to forgive, and to indulge. And it's like drops of love. And after many, many times, we have repetition with the same behavior from the others. Something open up in our life, and it now I understand better.
Mhm.
But because it's people close to me, sometimes I don't know how can I behave to help them to change this kind of behavior. But for me, person, it's like a school.
Yeah.
I feel today I'm not the same person than I was 20 years ago. When the same problem happened, my behavior now is different.
Mhm.
In certain way, I learn a lot with their not good behavior.
Yeah, but I'm sure when you say that, it's not just the natural growth that every one of us has with age, because of course, at least certain wisdom comes with age. I'm sure that it's also because of, you changing the focus as well, integrating spirituality in your life, that added to, what you are today. Right? Okay, let's keep on reading. He never experienced emptiness because he was filled with the very light that he needed to implant in the human heart, so that they would always have the knowledge that frees from ignorance and would be able to live as opposed to just exist. Look closely at how you spend your time and ask yourself if you are doing what you should. If you're feeling aimless and dull, ask him what you should do about it and then do it. If you need to go back to complete a task, do so without fear. It will help you advance. If difficulties are hindering your march, break the dominant chains and do not stop. Jesus does not stop. So, as we were saying, that this is a very individual journey, of course, it's natural to understand that in many parts of this journey, we are going to be feeling alone because we do not have people to share with the same enthusiasm what we now uh, believe, what is part of our ideals. In the case of Paul, my God, he would be traveling back and forth to different places, sleeping uh, in the outdoors, having a stone as a pillow, and all those things. Um, Sometimes, of course, he had the companion or a companion traveling with him, but it still is a very solitary journey. But he never felt like that because he always knew that once you make this connection with Jesus, with the spirit benefactors, you are never alone. And you're never without their assistance unless we close ourselves to their assistance, unless we are stubborn in terms of, my intuition or something tells me that I should take road A, but I want to take road B. I wanted to venture, and then what happens, right? So here they say, and it's very important. If we do not know exactly what to do, let's truly ask Jesus, what do you want me to do? And I'm sure the way is going to be presenting itself. Not with neon lights, okay? This way, the blinking lights. Follow here, you arrived. No, it's very, very subtle. But all of a sudden, you see you're there, and the opportunity was given to you. And the thing is, like she says here, if we were not able to fulfill our mission as we should, don't worry, go there and start again. Just start again, never give up. If you have this ideal, never give up. Any comment or question? Yeah.
I think in dreams he needed sometimes, no, in the book sometimes he needed Abigail and
Stephen.
Stephen talking to him. So sometimes he needed some extra help, no, and maybe no, for sure we need sometimes. So if we ask, we will have in dreams or opening. I never forgot in the book when Peter explaining when you are in doubt, you don't know how to do, you need to open the gospel and the answer will be there. So I always do this too. I think we need to know how to get this help, praying, reading good books, in a dream, asking to them, to the spirit guards or to the benefits, help us to have dreams to help in our journey, and I think we will receive something.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I was joking, saying about the neon signs, right? But sometimes there are neon signs, blinking and right in front of us, and we do not see it because our focus is in something different. And so we don't pay attention to them. I remember once in one of the study groups, a person asked why the spirits do not talk to us, and in terms of preventing us from doing this or that. And I said, you're right, they don't talk to us, they scream at us. But we don't listen. We don't listen, they are screaming, please don't go there, don't do that. And we're just ignoring the signs. We're ignoring the signs. There is that's so many situations where we ask for help comes and we do not recognize, right? And then we miss the opportunity, right?
I remember this story. For sure, the people tells in the spirit center, the guy asking help in a flooding, and please, but God will help me. And well, someone comes in a helicopter, and he said, no, no, God will help me. Another person come in a boat. No, 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 because God will help me. For sure, and other person comes, but he was waiting for God and he just died. And when he's in a spiritual plan, he asked, but God not help me? I can't believe. I was, waiting but God sent a lot of things, sent boats and helicopter. You didn't want to God. So this is the way that God talks to us.
Yes, exactly. But we wait for, something magical to happen, kind of what we would consider a miracle, not thinking about divine providence. Divine providence is very subtle, very, very subtle. Even when we come to our study groups, right? Maybe each one of us are going through some stuff, and all of a sudden, either any of us could be talking or giving examples. There is exactly what the other people needed to hear. We are being instruments actually for this divine providence. But because sometimes it was not directed to me, saying, listen, Marcel, I'm going to say that to you because I'm receiving an intuition that is telling me that this is to you, we let it go by and not pay attention that no, it is to us. Everything here it is to us. And I think in this sense, and all the teachings by the benefactor Joanna de Angelis is so impactful, and is so humane and understands so much our human needs and condition. And when she speaks to us, she goes straight to the point where we all need to be paying attention. And she finished this message by saying, may your lips and heart have no other question than this: Jesus, what do you want me to do? Now is the time. Make your decision. Fill your emptiness with the harvest of love and do what he recommends. Always love more fully. And remember, starting by loving us and not thinking, oh, I wish I I look different. I was blonde, brunette, or those silly things. No, let's value what we are, love ourselves, understand our flaws, saying to them, well, one day you are not going to be part of me, and I'm not going to miss you. Right? And I think this is what we should be doing, uh, and always directing our thoughts to the benefactors to guide us in the right direction, one that would lead us to become full, right? To living plenitude, to prevent this emptiness that existed in us. And as a consequence, we will be impacting much more than we think. The image that comes to my mind now is about the sun. When the sun rises and shines and illuminates our, side of the planet, you may say, I don't want the sun, uh, but the sun is there. The sun is always going to be present. And I don't want the light of the sun. I don't want the sun to impact me, but it will impact you, even if you're not valuing the sun. So I think that in a way, our goal is to become suns. Um, Even when people do not want to acknowledge the value or to follow or to benefit from its rays, it is there. It is shedding light to you. And one day, each one is going to be valuing it more and more. So this is what she says here. Let's go, or like Apollo, enlighten humankind, right? Where is it? Enlighten humanity. Any questions or comments?
I'd like to share a situation that happened to me like 2 weeks ago. I was in Rio. I was back to my home from my mom's home. I was in subway, and then I feel so tired. Not my body, but psychological tired emotionally. And then the guy stand up and give me the seat. Then I sit. When I sit down, the woman in my side start to talk about her boss pass so suddenly. And then start a long story. And I was listening. And then in the end she said, sometimes we don't understand why. In that moment, I knew the message for me was that sometimes we don't understand. Was like something enlightened my soul in that moment. And then in that situation, we were talking about what can I do? Most of time, the message arrived to us in like some different situation. It's like, why that woman was talking to me like that? But the message arrived to me, and I understood in that moment.
Yeah, that's incredible. But it's very much like this. It's very much like this. And sometimes even when you're there, you talk to her, then all of a sudden you look back and you say, "Oh my gosh, uh, thank you, thank
Thank
you,"
you.
because I was an instrument, even without realizing, and I did what I should have done. You know, it's amazing. It is amazing. And that's what happened. You know, they search for people. They look there and this is the person that could do that, and they
This
give
time
them the
now.
opportunity. And if you don't take it, be sure they would be finding someone else. And that's why sometimes I say, when I say you don't need to thank me, it's not out of false modesty. It's because I fully realize that when someone needs help, needs any kind of direction, they will find a way to give this direction to people. And if it was you that was the instrument of this, oh, bless you, God, because you gave me the opportunity and I took it. Otherwise, it would be somebody else.
Your time.
Okay. All right. So, all right.